So this is a very special camp with me because it's with the 2021 Open Water Swimming Women of the Year. Not just that, one of the third person ever to do something called the Ice Sevens, which we'll get into. You've swum on the Antarctic, you've swum in the Arctic. Let's talk about ice swimming because that's exactly why we're here, Kate. Thank you for coming with us to Chichester Club site. It's lovely to be down here. So ice swimming, is that exactly as it says on the tin?
So it's swimming in water that's 5 degrees Celsius and under. So yeah, but I thoroughly recommend it. You did really well today. We've had a little swim. It was 9 degrees. Just keep going. Get a little bit colder and you'll be there. And in ice swimming we have 2 branches really. We have the adventure side, and that's where we do the ice miles, and you do the ice 7. And an ice mile, for those that don't know, is swimming 1,609 metres or more in water that's 5 degrees or less. And we only wear a standard swimsuit, hat and goggles, so no wetsuit I'm afraid. And then we have the competitive side, we race various distances up to 1,000 metres, and we have world championships every 2 years.
When you start looking into it, you don't realise how many people actually get involved with ice swimming. I love open water swimming and wild swimming, and we're big advocates of it here at the club. But ice swimming sort of takes it to another dimension. I'm going to go down the competitive side first because we have just returned from, not me, but the British team has returned from the World Championships in Italy. How was that? What was that experience like?
The team was brilliant. The water, Malvino was beautiful. It's a 50-metre pool. The water was around 1 degree. Absolutely wonderful. It was not my best competition. I loved it. I was working very hard though on the board. I actually didn't podium, which is the first time for World Championships for me, but it's just taking part as well. But as a British team, they did really, really well. My partner Rory set some new age group world records as well, so he was very pleased with that. But yeah, and there were 750 competitors, so it really, really is growing. I mean, the first World Championships was in Murmansk in 2015, and Rory and I were the only British competitors, and I think there was like 40 competitors from around the world, so it has grown so fast, and it's brilliant to see.
And it really is quite a representation. There were African nations and hot European nations. And how do you find a location to do an ice mile then in places like Britain or in some of those hotter countries? Do you have to travel far to find these locations?
One of the most popular places to do it is up in Hatfield in Yorkshire with Swim Your Swim. Me personally, I've done quite a few in the south. I swim at Andart Lake and I've organised them there. You have to train for it properly and build up to it, do the right preparation. It's tough, but I really like it.
So going into that preparation then, I've done some open water swimming, but nothing as cold as what we did earlier, I don't think. So you were coaching me through a little bit about that. What's the, before you get in the water, what's the things that you need to consider before you actually take that plunge?
Go with somebody who's experienced. If it's your first time, try and find a coach and make sure they know that location, they know about the risks of it. You need to have the kit. So something like the red Evo robe is absolutely essential. You need a warm drink for when you get out, woolly hats, and lots of layers to put on, and easy things to put on, not things with zips and difficult buttons, because your fingers won't be as good at doing that when you get out the cold water. And
when you're in the water then, you were coaching me through what to do with my arms and submerging, breathing, that sort of stuff.
So when you get in cold water, you never dive and you never jump in because of that cold shock response. That cold shock response, which you felt today, is involuntary. We can't help that, but that's why you always walk in when it's ice swimming or when it's cold. Walk in gradually, put the water on your arms, and then we go down up to your shoulders, and you focus on breathing out. So that's a tip that I would always recommend, because naturally you want to do it like that, but if you concentrate on breathing out slowly and have your kit on the side, the last thing you want to do when you're cold is rummage around to find, my t-shirt's at the bottom, it's inside out. Have it all ready, turn the right way.
I think we did close to 20 minutes earlier, which was it was a very pleasurable 20 minutes. I very much enjoyed it. As we were swimming to get out, I don't know whether it was my mindset because we were leaving, or whether it was, you know, the natural temperature dropping in my body, but it did start to feel a bit tingly, and I thought, yeah, now is the right time
Yes.
to be getting out.
Yes.
So I guess listen to your body
Yeah.
as you're doing all of
And
this.
you know, keep talking, like we said. You know, we chatted a lot through that swim, and it was about how you're feeling, are you getting cold, or whatever. To always swim within your own limits.
You started off as an open water swimmer. It was Rory that your partner that mentioned to you, should you try some ice swimming?
Yes, I'd already done a cross-channel relay, English Channel relay. I'd swum through the winter, but yes, when I met my partner, he persuaded me back in 2013 to do a cold water swimming event in London, and I came back and I got some age group medals, which I didn't expect. But there was a longer event that was 450 metres, and I said, I want to do that next time. And he thought I was crazy. He thought, what do you want to do that for? And then I also heard of ISA and the Ice Mile. I was speaking to the founder about it, you know, want to do it. And then in January 2015, I did my first Ice Mile.
I mean, just seeing some of the pictures of your experiences, it, like you said, it has taken you to some of the most beautiful places on the planet. You know, where swimming among ice-capped mountains and that sort of stuff. Like, what's been the most incredible place that you've experienced?
It varies. I mean, went up to the very, very northerly point of Norway, and we did our polar ice mile there. That was absolutely stunningly beautiful, you know, with the fields, the mountains, really thick snow, absolutely fantastic. Argentina, finishing the Ice 7, always very special, and that was beautiful as well.
Where have been some of the more beautiful locations that you've enjoyed swimming around the British Isles?
We've been up to Snowdonia a few times in winter to hike up to the tarns and find them as cold as we can when they're not frozen. I try to do that before we go away for a big event. I love hiking, I love being outdoors, so hiking and swimming, there's some lovely swims. I've swum around Hayling Island, again the River Hamble, you've got places in the River Itchen, you've got various, you've got South Sea, you've got Leon Solent, and where we've been today isn't that far. So, you know, and Andart Lake, for when it's really cold, the facilities are brilliant. You know, wherever I go, I can try and find somewhere to swim or to dip.
Yeah.
There's always a spare swimsuit in my van. I do everything else, you know, but there's always spare swim kit.
It has been a big part of your life for how many years now? How did you first start to get into sort of open water swimming?
I started to get into open water swimming when I became a single mum, when the marriage broke down, and I used to go to Portsmouth Triathlon every other Saturday. When I didn't have my son, I'd go along there and go sea swim. So it was only once a fortnight to start with, and then as Daniel got older, I was able to go a little bit more, and very tragically he died 6.5 years ago, and then I took up swimming much more seriously then, because that's what I really did in my free time. That was what I needed to do.
How old was Daniel?
19.
Yeah.
Not long. We just started university. So it's the unimaginable pain every day now, always in my mind, always thinking about him, and I'd do anything in the world to have him back, anything.
What do the Samaritans mean to you?
Hopefully they'll save people going through what I'm going through and save lives, because it was Daniel's life, his future. I'm his mother in his pain, but the actual one person who takes their life affects so many more people, and anything I can do to support any of the charities, Papyrus, Samaritans, Solent Mind, whatever it is that can save lives, is so vitally important.
Absolutely. It's a huge thing, especially within young males, but not beyond that. You know, it's so. Thank you for the efforts that you're putting in to raise money for that.
Thank you.
It's very important work. How important is ice swimming for you? Just the community element of it.
Oh, it's so important. Yeah, it's close knit. It's really important.
Yeah. You've made some good friends. You've met your partner, Rory. You know what? One of the things that impressed me, looking at some of these results from the recent World Championships, is You had people who were born in 2006 competing for Britain, and then I saw Rory's name, and he wasn't born in 2006. I won't share his age, but you know, he's closer to pensioner than he is teenager.
Yes.
I think it's fair to say.
He is a pensioner. Oh yeah, first time we had.
And there is the GB Championships will be taking place in December this year, up in Scotland, which is a Stonehaven, which is actually not far from Scone club site, which will be open at that time of year. So I think it's do you get many people going to watch these types of events?
Yes, you do. You do get some people, but the world, and it might increase because the World Championships, you get lots of spectators. It depends how much we can reach out into local media to let people know that we're there.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, speaking to some of our members who might be interested in this after hearing your story.
Come and see.
You know,
come and see what it's all about.
I think so, yeah. And like you said, there are clubs around the UK that people can join. Where would, if people are like myself, you know, try and cold water swimming,
I'd say go somewhere which has organised swims and got the facilities. So you've got somewhere warm to get changed, you've got somebody keeping an eye on you. It may be lifeguarded, it might not be lifeguarded, you need to find that out. But somewhere that you can go and swim safely, that you know it's a safe venue, you've got like-minded people, you'll make friends there. Also on Facebook, you'll find lots of groups of wild swimmers, open water swimmers, and you'll find the type, we all talk about open water swimming or wild swimming, but when you start looking at it, there's a whole different breakdown of the people who take part, which is great. And you will find, I could almost guarantee that somewhere near wherever you live, there is a lake or a lido, because a lot more of those are staying open at winter, or there's a gravel pit that's opened as a swimming venue, or there's at least a community group where you could go and swim, dip, enjoy.
And just a brief element on camping then, because we've got this cute little camper, behind us. You've decorated it with your own. We've got an octopus on this side and a seahorse on the other side. You take this with you to go to some of these events and go to some of those fantastic locations. Where do you enjoy camping, and how did you get into camping?
When I was a child, my parents had a caravan. They were both teachers, and we used to go caravanning all summer in lots of places in Europe. I've liked camping ever since. I've walked the Pennine Way and the coast to coast. I've done that camping, and I love just getting out there. And I mean, I haven't taken this as far as I've taken my previous car that I drove down to Montenegro on a bit of an epic drive and swimming adventure. But I'm hoping to do some more with this and take it to some epic places. This year will be Scotland probably, but I'm also quite keen to take it down to Portugal, North Spain and Portugal. So I'm taking it to Ireland this year. I've got Cork Distance Week, which is a really excellent, intensive 10-day camp for swimmers from all around the world go to it. Ned Dennison arranges it. It's absolutely brilliant, tough. So I've got that, and then I've got a couple of other swims lined up for later this summer.
So, in your experience, then you've seen so many. You've seen the rise of ice swimming quite a lot in the past 10 years or so. You've seen me swimming today. Can I win any competitions?
It's about taking part and enjoying. I mean, if you joined a local club and a masters element, you'd be amazed how quickly your stroke could improve as well. But there's room for everybody. It's not just about winning, it's taking part.
So I think that's no then. I'm not going to win any championships. But no. Kate, that's been wonderful. Thank you so much for your time today, for taking us out for a swim, and for telling us all about your story. You've done fantastic things growing ISA in Britain the past few years, and hopefully this encourages more people to take the cold plunge, as it were.
Yes, I hope so.
Thank you
very much. Thank you.